Amy Roloff and husband Chris Marek tour 10,000 square foot dream retirement house with 6-car garage. Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel USA Roloff Family Gossip. For Roloff family latest news update, please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. The TLC stars weigh the pros and cons of the sprawling abode on Tuesday's new episode of Little People, Big World, by Natalia Senanayak published. Amy Roloff and Chris Marek tour their dream retirement. Amy Roloff and her husband Chris Marek tour a potential dream retirement house on Tuesday's episode of Little People, Big World. Chris also sees the massive abode as a business opportunity to host events, while Amy admits that the property is outside of their budget. The pair are blown away by the space, but agree that it would require a lot of maintenance. Amy Roloff and her husband Chris Marek are thinking big when it comes to their retirement. On Tuesday's new episode of Little People, Big World, the TLC stars brought viewers along with them as they tour a massive 10,000 square foot house in Oregon. The scene begins with Roloff and Marek discussing the pros and cons of the property as they drive over. Amy Roloff and her husband Chris Marek are thinking big when it comes to their retirement. On Tuesday's new episode of Little People, Big World, the TLC stars brought viewers along with them as they tour a massive square foot house in Oregon. The scene begins with Roloff and Marek discussing the pros and cons of the property as they drive over. Amy then admits that the home they're about to look at, which boasts a 6-car garage, is bigger than they need, but it's more up their alley. "We're used to having a little more space," she says. "An acre would be nice. I would eventually like a home with a master on the main. We'd love a 3-car garage." Amy Roloff doesn't expect to be best friends with Matt Roloff's fiancée Karen Chandler. "We're cordial." Upon entering the 6-acre property, Amy immediately notes the long, beautifully landscaped driveway, but worries about the maintenance it may require. As they pull up to the home, they are both blown away by the spacious entryway and stunning rural view from the back windows. "I think it looks better than the pictures," Marek says. While Amy is looking for a permanent home to retire in, her husband sees the sprawling abode as a business opportunity. "It seems like this would be a good venue for weddings," he says. "Not a lot of people around, beautiful farmland." Amy understands where her husband is coming from but admits that she doesn't want to be working until I'm 85 just to afford it. Little People, Big World trailer. Amy and Matt butt heads and his engagement creates family tension exclusive. In a confessional-style clip, Amy reveals her excitement about sharing this new experience with her husband. "I think Chris and we're still learning about each other," she explains. "This will be the first time that we're making some really major decisions together. I think this is kind of fun and exciting to see how we work together." After the pair tour the kitchen, bathroom, primary bedroom, and movie room, she sighs and says, "This is high maintenance, man." The Roloff family. All about the Little People, Big World stars. Also during the scene, she compares the home to her ex-husband Matt's property, Roloff Farms, where she and Marek tied the knot in. 10,000 square feet is big. I think the big house at the farm is a little over 5,000 square feet. And I thought the farmhouse was plenty of space as well, she says. Never miss a story. Sign up for People's free daily newsletter to stay up to date on the best of what POPLE has to offer, from juicy celebrity news to compelling human interest stories. Amy previously owned a portion of the farm and lived there until she and Matt divorced in 2016. The exes share 4 children together, twins Zach and Jeremy, 33, a daughter named Molly, 30, and another son named Jacob, 27. While both have moved on with new partners, Matt revealed that he was planning to leave the farm to his ex-wife during the season 16 premiere of Little People, Big World, after he had a falling out with son Zach. Little People, Big World airs Tuesdays at 9 p.m. ET on TLC. Little People, Big World, Zach Roloff boycotting farm. Zach Roloff from Little People, Big World seems to be boycotting his family's farm. He has been making memories with his family on his own piece of land. But will he ever go back to the property he grew up on? Zach Roloff feels he had a great childhood growing up on the family farm. He wants to give his children the same upbringing. So, when Matt Roloff put a portion of the farm up for sale, the TLC star put in an offer. Unfortunately, the offer wasn't enough for his dad to take it, and that didn't sit well with. So the Little People, Big World cast member bought a house with a big piece of property. He and his wife, Audrey Roloff, have been raising their 3 kids in their dream home and big land. They have a lot going on. They have made it their own. But do they still go to the family farm? Zach enjoys backyard with family. Zach reveals that their backyard is seeing more action as his kids get older. He and his family are spending more time outside enjoying their property. The TLC star explains that they went from playing with water tables and scooters to now battery-powered Jeeps. He feels that next, his kids will be playing with gas-powered go-karts. The Little People, Big World castmate feels that his son, Jackson Roloff, is so brave. Zach thinks he is the polar opposite of how he was as a child. However, Audrey Roloff feels their son is so reckless when driving around in his Jeep. She finds it stressful watching her son drive around. However, Zach tells Audrey that this is what the farm was like when he was growing up. He explains that everyone would be whipping around driving quads, so he is happy to see his children doing the same. Little People, Big World celeb stays away from family farm. Zach Roloff reveals that he, Audrey Roloff, and the kids no longer go to the farm. He feels that Jackson Roloff loves their big piece of land, so he doesn't think his family misses the family farm. However, he does want his kids to have their grandfather in their lives. He explains that the grandparents are always invited to their home. The Little People, Big World reality star stayed quiet when asked about Matt Roloff proposing to Karen Chandler. Zach only reveals that he didn't answer his dad's message about it. However, he feels there aren't a lot of bad feeling. According to Matt Roloff, he reveals that his son and his family don't visit the farm anymore. He feels they have a pact to avoid going to the family farm. However, as their grandfather, he wants to be in his grandchildren's lives. Soap Dirt always uncovers the best Little People, Big World news. Audrey Roloff says son Jackson told her he was too short to play soccer as he realizes he's not catching up. Audrey shares her 3 kids with husband Zach Roloff. By Hannah Sachs, published on March. Audrey and Zach Roloff's son Jackson has started to notice some of his differences from other kids. In this week's episode of Little People, Big World, the couple talks about how their 6-year-old son has taken a liking to soccer, though he's starting to question why he plays differently than his teammates. Jackson's super focused as a soccer player. He's very coachable, pays attention, runs hard. He's just not the best player, Zach says. There's some of it is his dwarfism, but he's pretty aware of his skill set. He's picked up pretty quick. He can't outrun people, so he controls the ball really well, adds the proud dad. Never miss a story. Sign up for People's free daily newsletter to stay up to date on the best of what P.O.P.L.Y. has to offer. Celebrity news to compelling human interest stories. He continues, saying that his son is becoming more and more aware of his condition. Jackson's getting to the age where the size differences are becoming more obvious, and he's not catching up, Zach says. Some of the opposing kids point out that he's different, and he's starting to hear that for the first time. Audrey notes that when this happened for the first time, Jackson blamed it on himself. The first game it happened at Jackson stopped in the middle of the game and told me on the sideline like, hey, they told me I'm too short to play soccer. The mom of 3 recalls. Oh. Tori captioned her post, meeting another baby for the first time, a series. The fans speculated that the Roloff farm was at the center of the feud, as Jeremy had been open about wanting to run it after his father retired and stepped down. Unfortunately, Jeremy could not agree with patriarch Matt Roloff, 60, who decided to put up about 16 acres of their family's plot for sale. Matt SNUB is Zachad. Matt has also been recently feuding with his other son, Zach. The paternal figure snubbed his son and daughter-in-law in a recent post from his trip to the Little People of America conference in Washington. Matt took a group photo with his ex-wife Amy Roloff, her new husband Chris Marek, and Molly and her husband Joe. Zach and Tori were nowhere to be found in his post, nor were they mentioned, even though they were also in attendance at the same conference. 3 of our kids, I hope, will find friends and find families who can see them for who they are, says Zach. This past April, Tori shared a similar story when her son Jackson hit the field for his first soccer game and scored a goal for his team. The Little People Big World star shared photos and a video on Instagram from Jackson's big moment, writing, "I can't tell you how stoked we were." Hey. Jackson, who had surgery in 2021 to help correct the bowing in his legs, was as fast as his fellow teammates on the field. But as Roloff wrote, I feel like Jackson and others are starting to notice that something is different about him, adding that they asked why he was so small. Pointing out that the other team wasn't bullying her son, Roloff says they were just curious. It stuck with him enough to tell me on the sideline, though. I told him that's how God made you. Now show them how fast you are. I want him to know he's different, but maybe not in the way he thinks he is. Tori later added, I pray you see your differences and use them to change the world. You are different, kid. Different than any kid I've ever met. You are one of a kind, and I am so stinking proud to be your mom. The Little People Big World airs Tuesdays at 9 p.m. ET on TLC. Audrey Roloff finally breaks silence on why she never hangs out with sister-in-law Tori amid family feud. People's Audrey Roloff has finally broken her silence on why she has never hung out with sister-in-law Tori amid their family feud. In an Instagram story, a curious fan asked, out of Jeremy's siblings, who do you get to see more often? Audrey is married to her husband Jeremy, 31. Jeremy is the brother of Molly, 28, Zach, 32, and Jacob, 24. The couple share 3 children, daughter Ember, 3, son Bode, 1, and newborn baby Radley. To the former Little People, Big World star admitted that she sees more of Jacob and his wife, Isabel, 25. Audrey explained, they are the closest to us. She continued, Zach and Tori and Molly and Joel both live out of her state. Also shared a sweet photo of herself and Isabel. The sister-in-laws posed in the middle of a field and showed off their baby bellies.